beautiful there. It was like a greeny blue.
But the peaceful scene was shattered in an instant. Eddie and Samantha were still in their hotel room when the first wave hit, and Amber was already headed to the beach.
Literally, as we've watched her go out of the building, a woman comes back running in. There's a tidal wave. And we just dropped everything and ran onto the beach. I was screaming, "Where's the elephant? Where's the elephant?" I was frightened to death. I felt physically sick, and I can remember running along the beach. It was horrible. It was the worst feeling in the world.
The first tsunami wave rolled back into the ocean. The second, even more lethal wave was yet to come. The young elephant's survival skills shifted into high gear. Just like the animals in Yala National Park, Ning Nong began trumpeting, backed away from the surf, and then turned, fleeing up the beach. Amber, Ning Nong and the mahout reached safe ground just before the second wave hit. The spot where the trio had been moments before was pounded by a wall of water. Amber has no doubts about what Ning Nong did for her.
I felt Ning Nong saved my life.
Once again, animal instinct meant the difference between life and death.
I think animals know something humans don't know.
I definitely think animals have a sixth sense.
The days after the tsunami were some of the most horrific the people of South Asia had ever faced. Each day, the death toll mounted. Although the survivors worked non-stop on search and rescue, it wasn't enough. It was then that the people of Thailand turned to tradition for help. They turned to the elephants. They came from camps all over Thailand, some right next to the worst disaster zones, others as much as 9 hours away. The jungle echoed with the stomps of elephant feet as mahouts and their beasts set out on a heartbreaking mission. Step by step, they headed to Thailand's hardest-hit villages. When they got there, the elephants began searching the rubble, helping to find the dead and bringing them back to their loved ones. In places inaccessible to trucks and cranes, elephants did the heavy lifting. They cleared tons of debris, allowing aid workers to recover bodies. In terms of brute strength, the elephants were ideal. But when it came to tracking survivors, they couldn't match the dogs. A special contingent of the King of Thailand's rescue dogs was brought in to serve on the tsunami front line. Dogs have been serving humans for centuries in disaster and rescue missions, from the Swiss Alps to the streets of our major cities.
I think for hundreds of years, man has used dog for a lot of purposes. And that's been done for a reason. It's been because the dogs have been successful for hundreds of years. I think beginning in the United States with the Oklahoma City bombing and moving through the World Trade Center with some of the natural disasters we've had, dogs have time and again proven their value.
As a veteran police officer and canine handler in Montgomery County, Maryland, John Green understands why they turn to dogs to help in the tsunami rescue.
The dog is able to do things that a human can't do. The dog has the ability to use its senses in ways that humans can't do.
We've seen how animals saved lives and helped people in the aftermath of the tsunami. But there were also animals who were victims. And that's when people came to the rescue. A Thai Navy vessel is on a critical mission across the South China Sea. It's one of the few boats in the area to have survived the massive waves, which tossed around even the largest vessels like toys, dumped some more than a mile inland. Today, these troops are headed to a desolate and forbidden island. A secure base that has long been off limits to all but the Navy. It's their first voyage to the island since the tsunami, and they have no idea what they'll find. Their assignment is no traditional military exercise. As well as protecting the nation's borders, the Thai Navy is also sworn to protect Thailand's beautiful sea turtles.
The Navy's duty is not only to protect the nation, but also to protect natural habitats.
The admiral in charge of this region cares deeply about protecting the turtles.
The Navy understands nature, so marine animals are our friends, especially the sea turtles. They're now so rare because too much fishing and tourism has really encroached on their territory.
Green turtles, which can grow to 300 pounds, are one of the 4 species of marine turtle that nest here. All the species are endangered. To try to save them from extinction, in 1979, the Navy was chosen as the turtles' official guardian, and a turtle hatchery was set up on this island. After the eggs hatch, the Navy cares for the babies for 6 months before releasing them out to sea. In the wild, only 1 out of 1,000 baby turtles makes it to adulthood. A shelter like this increases their survival rate by 80%. The hatchery spends several years nurturing thousands of baby turtles, until the tsunami hit. Naval units usually stationed on the island were forced to flee. As they come ashore, the men don't know if they're ready for what they'll see. What became of the turtles in the hatchery, or the eggs buried on the beach? The tsunami was devastating for wild marine turtles. It's unlikely they sensed the earthquake, and they had no way to escape. Thousands were killed and injured when the waves tossed them inland. As the Thai Navy sets off to investigate the island, a lone crusader faces the same crisis in Sri Lanka. Kitsiri Kanagara is passionate about sea turtles and has spent a lifetime protecting them. Over the past 25 years, he's raised 1 million of these gentle creatures. He also keeps a few adult turtles for scientists to study. But unlike the Thai Navy, he does all this work by himself. When Kitsiri found out the tsunami was about to strike, his only thought was for his turtles. He knew there was nothing he could do for about 5,000 babies he was about to release, let alone the 20,000 eggs ready to hatch. Frantic, he ran to the beach and grabbed 2 of the largest and most important green turtles. Heaving them into his arms, he struggled under their weight as he ran to higher ground.
Because when I faced that moment, I was not thinking about myself. I was thinking about the turtles. I knew I had a chance to save 2 turtles, because we needed to save every turtle we could. What would happen if they would have all been washed away?
Those who know him are not surprised by his courage. The turtles are his life.
People like Kitsiri are combining a livelihood as well as a moral crusade to save a species from extinction.
He's been battling the illegal turtle trade, land developers and even government officials for as long as anyone can remember. The tsunami proved to be the toughest enemy yet. All his work except one incubator pit for turtle eggs was washed away. 20,000 eggs, 7 rare green turtles, and $500,000 worth of research equipment, all gone. But he isn't giving up. He's back at work, rebuilding, one turtle at a time. Meanwhile, across the China Sea, a small miracle has happened. The group's commander finds signs that at least some of the turtles have survived.
After the tsunami, a group of turtles was washed up on the mainland. I was helping take care of them. The ones that survived were put back into the ocean. Some of them died, but over 40 of them survived.
Every one of these eggs is a precious survivor. Back in Sri Lanka, a crew of volunteers heads into a remote region that no one has been able to reach since the tsunami struck. They've come to save the dogs. Pet dogs aren't common in South Asia, but there are hundreds of dogs who belong to the community, surviving on restaurant scraps and the generosity of villagers. When the tsunami hit, most of the dogs were driven out of town and are now running wild. It's a dangerous situation. Some dogs are injured and others are carrying deadly diseases like rabies. All of them are hungry. To make it even harder, some dogs have gone wild, which means that they're vicious and very nervous around people. Headed by Sherry Grant, the president of Humane Society International, the team is in a hurry to treat the dogs. If they don't act quickly, the government will kill them.
If we can stabilize this population, especially in a disaster area like this where the food source is very, very limited, we will have a population of dogs that aren't fighting over food. By stabilizing the population, it keeps the panic away, and it allows the community to rebuild and not worry about the dogs.
The rescue mission includes a vet, a volunteer squad of international dog lovers, and a team of artful dog catchers. They must catch the dogs in order to treat them. Some use nets.
Oh, the black one. The black one. Yeah. Sudah.
But some of the dogs are just too difficult to catch. The team resorts to an ancient device, a blowgun.
Got him.
The tranquilizer in the dart sedates the dogs, making them safe to handle.
They see me coming and they know what I'm after, but if I can get to their side and get a good flank shot on them, if I can get them in the shoulder or in the butt, we want to hit a big muscle group. If it looks like the dart hit them really well, I'll start my stopwatch, count off 15 to 20 minutes. By 30 minutes, they're usually good and asleep, and we can just go out and pick up a rag doll.
They may look wild, but most of the dogs come from communities that were destroyed. Now they have nobody to look after them.
We need to care about all animals. We need to understand that they are sentient beings. They hold a place in society. In this case, in Aragon Bay, these dogs belong to people, or they belonged to people, and those people are gone. And they need to be cared for.
Although Sherry's team must work quickly, they're careful to treat the dogs gently.
Well, this isn't really distress. This is just how they're talking. There's no pain to them. What it is they're frightened. It's an uncertain environment for them. They don't know where they're going. I guess if you were walking down the street of San Francisco and